You know, we've been discussing the Holocaust now for 3 years, and we talk about it in many different ways. And you folks know more about the Holocaust than most people that are in high school right now. And one of the things we focus on is loss, is what the Jewish people in particular, but in addition to that, the 5 million non-Jews also lost during this time period. What are your thoughts on that?
I feel like they can't go back in time, and they lost a lot of time, and they did not get to make any new memories because of this.
A lot of the memories that they had previously made, all the things that they had already done, were taken away, and then they never got to fully experience life and make new memories. And even small things like birthday parties or big things like weddings, they never got to fully live.
So it doesn't even matter how old you are. You could be 6 years old, you could be 66 years old. Those memories that you would have made are no longer able to be made.
I can agree more with Mary. Just the experience of blowing out the candles with your family. A lot of Jewish children, even adults, couldn't experience it. Making a wish.
Simple things that we take for granted every year.
Yeah, memories define us in a way, and when you take them away, it takes away who you are.
It's like going into your house and seeing on the refrigerator all those little things that you did in school. They wouldn't be there because they didn't have that opportunity to make them.
Yeah.
This is a picture of a young girl during the Holocaust playing the piano. She was around my age. I wonder what she was doing. Maybe she was practicing for a recital, or maybe she was learning a song for a friend.
Hey, that was really good. Wasn't that the 21 Pilots song?
Yeah, it was called Before You Start Your Day.
Yeah, I learned it because I know you guys like 21 Pilots.
Thank you.
I've always wanted to see that song live.
Yeah, I heard they have really crazy shows. Do you know if they're playing anywhere around here?
I think they're going to Madison Square Garden, but I don't
We should
really know.
go. We gotta go.
If they are, we should totally go.
Yes.
How lucky we are to be able to create memories with friends. Whether it be lunch plans or attending a concert, these memories were taken away from the Jewish people with no warning.
Here we have Marcus and his mother Gerda. Gerda had told Marcus to go out and get groceries.
Alright, eggs, milk, butter. Got it.
We don't know if Marcus had returned or not, or if he had been sent to Moffenhausen, the concentration camp. We all should be very grateful that we live in such a safe time and place, and that there are no groups that could harm us.
This is a girl sitting in her room. Her parents just took a picture of her, and she's about to write in her diary. She's thinking of what she wants to say, and doesn't know how many people will actually read it.
I wonder if this boy just posed to take a picture for his mom or dad. I wonder if this boy had a brother so he could play soccer with. These memories were cut short because of the Nazi persecution of the Jews during World War II.
In our discussion of loss, the obvious thing that we talk about all the time is the death of the children, the death of the adults, and the separation of the homes that were broken apart, of the families that were torn apart. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, when they left, they would never see them again, and sometimes they didn't get to say goodbye. So I know that's personally hard for a lot of people because I know that firsthand because I've seen that a broken family before with young children, and even me personally, I never got to say goodbye, so it's kind of hard because you'll never see them again, and you don't know if you're going to see them again, and then it's also hard with separation because it also brings more stress upon the people, and it kind of brings you down. So when they're in the camps, it's hard for them to be brought down even more.
And I think we can all relate to that because, I mean, how many times do we have that argument with our mom or argument with our dad or brother and sister and then they leave, and realistically, we don't ever know if we're going to see them again, okay? But here you have a situation where they know they're not going to see each other again. And what a tough thing that is. What are your thoughts about it?
Well, it's terrible because the families are split and they're unaware of each other's fate. They could be in passing 20 years later and they would be unaware of who their parents are. They don't know where they are. They don't know who they are. You know, they don't know what their family's up to. They could still be alive. They could be gone. Do you
remember Manny Lindenbaum who came in and spoke to us? He was one of the kinder transport people, and his brother was also, this is one of those rare families where two children from the same family went to England, and he was standing on the corner one day, and his brother came walking by, and he somehow recognized his brother, but his brother didn't even recognize him.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you're talking about.
It's kind of going to bounce off of what Nikki said. She mentioned, like, losing younger relatives, but personally I can relate with older relatives who I was never really close with, but when they passed, I was just like, I didn't believe anything that happened until I actually went to the funeral and memorial and everything, and that just hit me, and it still sticks with me, and I still get upset about it sometimes. So, like, yeah, never really getting to spend enough time with people before they
Die.
Yeah.
You know, your grandmother, your grandfather, I mean, how many times do people say, of course we look like our father, we look like our mother, but we also look like our grandparents. What was my grandfather like? What was my grandmother like? I had 4 grandparents, all right, and from each side of my family too, and I never met 3 of my grandparents. So I know exactly what you're talking about when you're talking about that loss of something that you never had the opportunity to meet.
In this photo, you see 2 young girls on the sidewalk, most likely playing in town. I wonder if they could continue to play after the photo was taken, or if the Nazis invaded in their games, ruining their fun, and maybe even ruining their lives.
This is an average Jewish family going out to meet their friends. The kids and parents were all dressed up to go to the formal event. The daughters and parents were excited because they would soon reunite with their family friends. Their parents, mother and father alike, were proud of their family. Before they left, the family captured the moment in front of their car. I wonder if they ever had the opportunity to see their friends again after this photo was taken, or if the Holocaust took it all away. I wonder if they ever had the chance to come home.
This picture shows a young girl around the age of a middle schooler. She might have been heading to a friend's house. Maybe she was riding her brand new bike for the first time. Or this girl could have been biking through the hillside near her home. Maybe this would be the last bike ride she would take.
All right, girls, as we talk about loss, how do you feel about the people in your family, specifically your animals and pets? Would you consider them members of your family?
I mean, I've had pets my entire life. I don't think I've ever lived in a house without an animal there. And currently I have 7 dogs and 2 cats, and we've never considered them anything less than family. We get medical attention whenever needed, we dress them up, and the idea of having them ripped away from us, whether, I mean, like, I've experienced them dying, but the idea of having them still be alive, like having to give up pets, I've had to do that because they weren't healthy enough to live with us. So having to do that is heart-wrenching. So the fact that they have to do it with no reason, no logical reason, is just, like, heart-wrenching.
Yeah, like I have pets, and if I had to give them away or I couldn't forget another pet, I would be like horrified. I mean, like, because pets like are like they have feelings too, and since they have feelings, they can also comfort you in time of need. this was a pretty big time of need, especially since it was like a Great Depression. And since that was that, like, we kind of needed something.
So how do you feel as, thinking about your pets, thinking about how much they comfort you and they're held in great respect, and how do you think the Jewish people felt as they had to leave not only their homes, not only their pictures, not only their clothes, but what about their animals? What do you think happened to that?
Well, I mean, seeing as I live with pets too a lot, basically, I know that I wouldn't be able to leave my pets. Like, if someone was like, okay, so you have to leave your house, but you're not allowed to take your pets with you. Like, you have to give us your pets and we'll take care of them for you. Like, no, I wouldn't trust them. A, B, I wouldn't be able to do that because, like, you always have a bond with your animal. Like, you especially like small animals, you meet like a kitten or something, and immediately you're like, I need to take this thing home, take care of it because it's wonderful, it's happy, it's small, and it's just incredibly like heartbreaking when you have to leave something like that alone. And the Jewish people, they must have felt so horrified because the Nazis were just trying to take every single little thing away from them that they could. Like, it didn't even have to be anything substantial. They just wanted to make sure that they could take away anything they could just to make the Jewish people feel bad.
How do you guys feel about that innocence part of it? An animal is an innocent creature that can't take care of itself necessarily, or
I've always been like an animal person. Like, I mean, I'm just a gigantic hippie, and I always fight for animal needs. Like, the fact that out of all of I don't really think there's any good reason to harm an innocent animal, but this is like one of the worst possible reasons because they haven't done anything. Just like the Jews haven't done anything, they haven't done anything either. So
another example too is we read a book where there were Jewish families hiding with the German family, and the little girl who was in the German family, she had a small kitten, and I remember halfway through the book the Gestapo come because they searched for the Jewish family, and they come inside and they keep the kitten. And I just remember, like, the family was horrified at that. I was horrified at that part, and then they have to leave the kid at the end of the book because they have to leave because they're going to be discovered. So
I remember reading the Diary of Anne Frank when they went to go into hiding, and Peter still had his cat. About the only reason that they let her that he still had it is because the parents agreed that he didn't really have anyone else. Like, Anne had her sister, but Peter didn't really have anyone. So it's just proof that they're as meaningful, or at least close to as meaningful as humans are.
The innocence that you were talking about before, like, if you left your animal inside your home and you haven't come back for a while, I mean, cats can probably go and scavenge for themselves, but if it's like a bunny or it's in its own cage, you can't go out and then probably die after a few weeks.
In this picture, we see two ordinary Jewish people, presumably a brother and sister. It appears as if they're talking about their day before they were unfairly persecuted for their religion.
So, Ray, how was school today?
Just fine. You spilled your drink. Keep going.
Sorry. And it's going absolutely swell. A World War I project for history due next week.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yep, I'm probably going to have to go to the library over the weekend.
You'll spend a lot more time in the library in high school.
Slow down. I have to start working first.
Oh, that's right. You did join the workforce. You're productive now.
Shut up.
It's a miracle. You know what today is?
Yeah, I know. Passover.
So where's your yarmulke? Come on, you gotta wear it for family dinner. It's gonna be swell.
I don't even like any of the Passover foods.
Okay, well, I don't like olives, but I eat them anyway to make Mom happy.
Well, I mean, what does God care if we eat olives on Passover?
I don't know.
Well, you should. You're the one that goes to the synagogue every Saturday.
What do you want me to do? Give him a ring on the phone? Are you there, God? It's me, Maria.
Well, it'd certainly be nice if you could do that.
Well, get the phone book. Maybe you'll find his extension.
I don't need to. It's Passover. He's supposedly watching.
Yeah, he's watching, all right. He's watching you not do your homework. You should go to the library before dinner. And don't forget your yarmulke.
Fine.
I wonder what she was doing. Was she doing homework, writing to someone? I don't know. I don't think she deserved to die.
These two innocent kids are getting ready for a birthday party. I wonder if they ever made it, or did they get caught up in the horrors of the Holocaust?
Sarah, did you get the present for Johnny?
Yep, it's right here. He's gonna be so happy.
It has to be wrapped.
It's in the car.
Okay.
Oh, this is such a great party.
I know, the food is great.
I can't wait for next year.
Me neither.
Alright, time to go home.
Okay.
Happy birthday again, Johnny.
Happy birthday. So, continuing from our talk about loss, a lot of youth and things, like a lot of small children that were, our age were taken to the camps, and they didn't really experience what it was like to be a kid, to go out in the real world, grow up, become, a big name out there or something. And that's something that I really, grieve and think that it's unfortunate that their life was cut short like that.
Out of all people, it's children. Out of all people, they'd seen things that most people would not even imagine seeing, where numerous people being killed in front of them, and they have to stand there and watch, because if they move, then they're probably going to be next. And they couldn't experience their own lifetime, such as having a birthday party or anything, because their life was just cut short from the Holocaust.
Kids these days, at least around here, are always protected by their parents and other kids' parents that they trust, and it's just hard to believe that they're treated like this in the Holocaust.
Yeah, in the Holocaust, 1.5 million children died, so I just think of the stuff I do every day, like ride my bike, complain about schoolwork, or even have arguments with my sister. They never got to experience that because their lives were just cut short by the Holocaust.
Children during the Holocaust, they had to grow up living with their family being separated from them and their innocence being taken away from them. They never got the experience of going out to the world and being on their own. They always had to be, like Tess said, 1.5 million kids were killed during the Holocaust, which meant that amount of children that were killed never got to experience anything that we get to experience today.
These 4 young boys could have been best friends, brothers, cousins, anything. They could have been family or just simply friends. Besides that fact, these boys could have gone everywhere together. They could have grown up together, they could have seen the world, they could have made even more friends along the way. But that's not going to happen now. I wonder how many of them even made it through the Holocaust. How many of them died at the hands of the Nazis or during the horrors of the concentration camps. Did any of them manage to grow up? Did any of them make it safely home? What if one of these 4 kids was not allowed to grow up and have a full experience in life, just because someone didn't believe that they should, because of someone's bigoted opinion that they were not allowed the right to life that everyone else did? I wonder why the little girl is looking at her mother like that. Did her mom just promise her ice cream if she smiled for the camera? Or does she just admire her mother? I wonder why they are dressed so nice. Were they going to the synagogue, a picnic, or even just a drive? I wonder what they were doing on this beautiful day. Do you think the Holocaust got in their way?
Can we go to ice cream now?
During the Holocaust, families were taken out of their homes and placed in concentration camps. I wonder if these 2 girls ever got to play again, or were their lives cut short by the Nazis. In this picture, Annie and her little brother, John, were at the park to play before dinner. They were looking at the sky. I wonder if they were looking at the German bomber planes flying past. I wonder if they even made it home in time for dinner, or if the Nazis took them to the death camps. There's me and my little cousin Brandon. We're going to my confirmation. We had a freedom. They didn't.
This picture shows a family, a sweet, innocent, perfect family. Where were they going? Perhaps they were going into town, or perhaps they were celebrating something. What if they were just going for a ride as a family for one last time before the Holocaust got in their way and took away everything they knew and loved? What could they have done? What did they never get to do? A sweet, perfect, innocent family, stripped of everything and anything that they knew and loved. But unfortunately, this wasn't the only family.
In conclusion, we've talked about loss, so many different types of loss that the Jewish people experienced during the Holocaust. And something that we've talked about in class quite a bit is identity. We've talked about identity and we've talked about our humanity. And I have said to you that I believe that a man, because I'm a man, identifies himself by his job, okay, by your job. I'm a teacher, okay, I'm an educator, and that's how I identify myself. I'm a father, okay, I identify myself in these particular ways. And this is another area of loss that the Jewish people experienced, both in their identity and also their humanity, or their loss of humanity, in not only the ghettos, but in the camps as well. So what are your thoughts on that?
Like with the humanity, like some people get into like petty fights with siblings, but this was over like staying alive. People had to fight for food, for shelter, for clothing, and to get spots to be hidden by other families. It was just insane how much people would do to get what they needed.
And when you read something like that, how does that make you feel when you argue with your sister over that piece of cake?
It seems silly. You realize that it's not worth it anymore.
When we talk about losing identity, people were using numbers had tattooed onto them, or as necklaces, so they didn't really have their name. So they're losing their identity as they were losing their lives and their families, and they're losing so much over.
They didn't even have their names. What did they call every Jewish man?
Israel.
Israel, and every Jewish woman?
Sarah.
Sarah. I mean, they even took their names away from them, so they lost that. Sarah, what do you think?
For me personally, I feel like it's beautiful how each person is their own person. Like, none of us are the same in this world. And to me, that's a beautiful thing that we're all different and we all have different likes. And we're all ourselves, like no one else is like us. And it hurts me to think that one day that was taken away from them. Several people who are just their own individual just got taken away.
To make them all the same, like a piece of cargo, okay? Almost like...
Kind of like manipulating them.
Exactly. Thanks.
I feel like people in Auschwitz, they had to get their numbers tattooed, like Eric said, and then they also, women had their hair cut off, which was kind of mocking them and making them all look quite similar, because hair was kind of a big thing back then. People I don't know, they thought hair was beautiful, and they had it all cut off, so they all looked almost the same.
That's an excellent point. Women always take care of their hair, right? They dye it, they curl it, they frizz it, they do all kinds of things. And one of the first things the Nazis did was they shaved their heads to take that identity away from them. I think that we've covered just about every aspect of loss that we finally can. And I think if there's one thing that comes to me, based on what all of you have said, is the word gratitude, and that I should be grateful for everything that I have in my life, because it can be gone so quickly.
This here is a photo of the famous Anne Frank. It appears she is about to write in her diary, or already was, and was interrupted by a family member when this was taken. I wonder how many times she was able to write in the same diary again before her life was taken. Today, where we live in a more peaceful place, we are able to write whatever we feel and whenever, without the fear like Anne had.
All of these boys were innocent. From short to tall, they were all clean dry of their innocence, and only because of their beliefs. If these boys had survived after what the Nazis did to them, would they be like you or me? Or would they be completely different?
I wonder what these two women were doing this day. Were they going to the city for the first time? Was it their normal lunch hour? Or did they get taken away to Auschwitz? Sometimes you need to look at the bigger picture and cherish those moments with those special people in your life in memory and love for the people who never got the chance
Here
to.
we see a young girl from the Holocaust compared to what she might look like if she were alive today. I wonder what she's doing on that bike. Going shopping, hanging out with friends, or
Just going for a casual ride around town.
Okay, I'm gonna go ride my bike. Bye.
Every day we do little things such as riding our bike or walking around town or maybe even going to school or work that we either don't think about or just complain about. But when you take a step back and realize that there are people not only from the Holocaust but even today that would do almost anything for that opportunity, it humbles you and makes you realize that how lucky we actually are. There are so many people that lost the opportunity to just live a normal, happy life, but because of what happened, they weren't able to.